Wouldn't it be really cool if, say, somebody made a device to easily connect any mic directly to almost any camera, be it Panasonic, Sony, Canon? Imagine being able to directly connect your mic to your camera, no matter what connection type your mic was, be it, say, an XLR, 3.5mm pen, even a USB. And imagine if that device also made your mic sound good, did away with poor audio. A mythical device. A device so simple that even your grandmother could use it. No scrolling through menus and all that. Just a simple, can't get it wrong setup. The stuff of dreams, yeah? Well, no, because I have such a device here. The Beachtek DXA Max. And I have to say, this bit of kit, it's really well made. It's all metal and everything just feels so solid. And the kind folks at Beachtek agreed to give you a 20% discount using the code Andrew20. And I'll put a link below. But what makes this so brilliant is the fact it only does one thing. But it does it really well. It makes it easy to connect any kind of mic to any camera. In fact, you can actually connect more than one mic directly to your camera if you wanted to. And we're going to get to that later. But first, I'm going to share the easy way to connect any mic and the simple settings to change to get pro sounding audio. I'll also give you what I think are the best budget mic and camera combinations. And I'll share why you don't need to know anything about audio or even have fancy equipment to get great sounding audio. And the feature that means you'll always have a backup recording in case something goes wrong because, well, shit happens, and this has actually saved my skin a few times. But first, let me tell you why connecting your mic directly to your camera without something like the Beachtek is a bad idea. Most cameras, even budget cameras like this Sony ZV-10, are great at capturing quality video. But the audio processing in cameras like this, it's a bit crap. In fact, any camera like sub $4,000 won't have decent preamps. And your audio, it'll sound a bit shit. And if you have an XLR mic like, say, the Shure SM7B, or maybe a USB mic like the Yeti or the Shure MV7, then connecting it directly to your consumer camera, well, it's going to be a challenge because they don't have a way to connect an XLR or a USB cable directly to the camera. Well, the Beachtek fixes this. So I've got a Sony ZV-10, which is a great budget camera. I've got the Beachtek and a few different mics that are commonly used. I've got a shotgun mic, which is great if you don't want the mic in the shot. And the one I have here is the Sennheiser MKH600, which is about $240. I've got an XLR mic, the Shure SM7B, widely used, sounds great, and we're going to be connecting that. And finally, to demonstrate connecting a USB mic, I'm using the Shure MV7, but this works with any USB mic, as you'll see. Now, before we dive in, and since I'm talking about equipment on this video, and buying the wrong equipment is something I see people doing all the time, wasting time and money, what I've done, I've put together a free gear guide. Shows you what budget equipment you need to create videos like this. And I've put a link below because there's no need to spend a lot. So to get started, I'll just mount the Beachtek on the camera. And then I'll connect the Beachtek to the camera. Just plug this into the port marked out. And then plug that into the audio mic port on the camera. So let's start with mics with a 3.5mm pin. And this works for any mic with a 3.5mm pin or a 1/4 inch pin if you're in the US of America. All I have to do is insert the mic into the port marked ST, which stands for stereo. There are two other ports here marked L and R, and these actually open up a whole world of possibilities, but we'll come to why these are special later. For the time being, we're only using the ST port. Now, just one thing. If you're only connecting one mic, you want to make sure that you select M on the output on the front of the Beachtek. So now we have the mic connected, and I'll turn the Beachtek on. And as I'm talking, you can see the levels on these meters moving. And I'll show you how to adjust these and balance them to your camera shortly. Now, around the other side of the Beachtek, we've got an XLR port. So if I've got a mic, say like the Shure SM7B or any mic indeed with an XLR plug, and I wanted to use that, I'll just plug that into the XLR port, and again, as I'm talking, you can see that it's now sending the audio to the unit. Like I said, I'll be showing you how to balance the settings on your camera so it works correctly shortly. And then we get to the USB mic, and this is an interesting one because, well, there's no USB port on the Beachtek or the camera. But that doesn't stop us from connecting a USB mic. And to demonstrate, I'm going to use the Shure MV7, but any USB mic would work. The first thing we need to do is plug the USB mic into your computer. Now, it needs to be connected to your computer as you would normally, and the only reason we're doing this is because it needs to get power from your computer. We're not going to be recording to your computer. It only needs your computer as a source of power. What we do is we connect a 3.5mm audio cable to the headphone output on your mic, and then we plug that into the SD port on the Beachtek. And I'll just turn the headphone volume up a little on the mic. Now, we don't want to do it too much because I want the Beachtek to do most of the amplifying. Now, as I talk into the USB mic, you can see the meters moving and the audio is now being passed to the Beachtek. So when we've got whichever mic we want to use connected to the Beachtek, what we need to do then is set up the camera. So what we need to do first is open the menu on your camera and find the audio recording levels, and I'll navigate to that. Then we want to turn this down. We want the lion's share of the audio processing to be done by the Beachtek, which has got very high quality preamps. So I'm going to turn the levels down to about 6. I found that having it about 25%. This is the sweet spot. I'll make sure the switches here on the Beachtek are set to high. Now, I'm only using one mic at the moment, so I'll make sure the output is switched to M. And then, as I'm talking into the mic, I'll adjust the levels using these dials so that the audio levels on my camera when I'm talking normally, adjust it in about -12, maybe just bouncing a little over that. What's important is it's the levels on your camera that you want to be paying close attention to. That's where the recording is taking place. And it doesn't matter what mic you're using, the process for setting the levels, it's the same. What you've now got is your audio being processed by the high quality preamps in the Beachtek and not the crappy preamps built into your camera. And here's what's really cool. There's a couple of extra things that you can do that you can't do if you're just connecting your mic directly to your camera. For example, you can connect 2 mics. Great, say if you're recording an interview, or maybe you wanted to use a second mic, maybe as a backup. With the Beachtek you can. You've now got options. And it can be a XLR mic and a mic with, say, a 3.5mm plug. It could be 2 mics with a 3.5mm plug. It could be an XLR mic and a USB mic. You've got options. So here's how you do it. Let's say I wanted to record a XLR mic with a 3.5mm plug. I'd plug in the XLR mic, and if you notice, there's a letter R. And what this means, it means it's going to the right channel. And then I'll plug the mic with the 3.5mm pin into the port here, the port marked L. And that, of course, that's the left channel. If I flip the output switch to S, now I can adjust the levels of each mic independently with these dials. When I come to edit the video, I can then just extract the 2 tracks and then save them as independent audio tracks. The other use case, and I think this is likely more common and something that is really good practice, is to record a safety track. So what's a safety track? And why would you want one? Well, let's say you're talking and let's say you get a little bit excited, a little loud. The audio is going to peak and it sounds really bad. A safety track, it's recorded at a lower level. So if your main audio peaks, you can then replace that part in your editing from the safety track. And all we have to do is plug your mic in. And I'm only using one mic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug that into the ST port and make sure the output is set to M. And then I'll adjust one channel so it's about -12 dB on the camera. That's the sweet spot if you remember. And then I'll turn the other channel down to it's about -20 dB. That's going to give me a lot of headroom. And now when I record, if I get it, say, a little bit too loud, a little bit too excited, I know I've got a second safety track. Can save me bacon. This is the first step in getting decent audio on a budget. And if you want to know how to take this to the next level and make even a cheap mic sound expensive, and sound like you recorded it in some fancy studio? You're going to want to watch this video next.